You have the books, but no time. You want to grow, but your mind is stuck in traffic. And when it's time to speak, you go blank or play small.
That is not failure. That is mental overload. And Smart Speakers Academy was built to fix that. I am Leslie Grace, the confidence coach, and I help you master 3 allied skills: smart reading, smart thinking, and smart speaking. Because confidence is built on competency, and when you read smart, you unlock speed of thoughts to become the smartest person in any room.
Click the link you can see to unlock a smarter version of you. Of course, because when you read smart, you think smart. And when you think smart, you speak like a smart leader. This is your time. Let's build the smarter version of you. This is the Smart World.
The 7 layers of smart reading. Hello, Suntiwa. It's so good to have you here. And I'm Leslie Grace, the confidence coach. I help you master confidence, smartness through smart reading, smart thinking, and of course, smart speaking. I am more than elated and excited to have you here today as we talk about the 7 layers of smart reading. If you're just joining us, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share this live with somebody that should be here. Hi, hello, everybody. Hi. Can you see me? Can you hear me well? I love that you are here again today. Thank you for joining. With their reading. Those people that have been complaining to you that they don't know what's happening to their reading. You want to share this life with them. Let's talk about the 7 layers of smart reading. Now, I'm more than excited to share this with you because guess what I've noticed, right? There's a difference between reading and smart reading. Especially as a busy professional. There's a huge, massive difference between reading and smart reading. And so, I mean, background story, right? There was almost years that I could not read. I couldn't finish a book in years. I always say it. And so when I began to pick up, I then found out that, hey, there's a difference between reading and smart reading. Now, this led me to curate what busy professionals now use, which is smart reading. So the interesting conversation today is, you've never heard it before, yes. We curated smart reading at the Smart Speakers Academy because we found out that, hey, it's until you read smart that you can think smart. And it's when you think smart that you can now speak smart. Again, welcome to the conversation. Today, I'm excited. Like, this is I'm in my element. I'm in my full element. Let's get into the conversation. I want you to begin this way. Imagine a ship anchored in a storm. The waves crash against it relentlessly. That's a ship is sailing, and then there are waves crashing against it relentlessly. Now, if the anchor isn't strong, the ship will drift, right? If the anchor is not strong enough, that ship will drift. But you see, if the anchor is deep and well secured, the ship withstands the storm. Who can relate? If you can relate to what I'm saying, put in the comment section, yes, I can. Now, I want to bring smart reading home as possible. Like, I want to bring it down on the table as possible. It is something we curated. So I want to expand it and explain it in a way that you can understand. So in a bit to make it a very as crystal clear as white, right? That's what I want you to do. I want to do for you today. Hello, lovely. Hi, everybody. Now, just picture that ship. That ship that is able to move because of the depth of the anchor. All right? Now, the truth is that your mind is like that ship. Your mind is like that ship. Reading without depth is using a weak anchor. Using an anchor that is not strong enough. When you read without depth, you are actually using a weak anchor. One that is not strong enough, that is not durable enough, that cannot do the job for you. That's what reading without anchor can do for you. Without reading without depth, I beg your pardon. You may move fast when you do this, but the truth is that you are drifting away because you're not understanding. And these are the kind of complaints I get from professionals. They say things like, I'm reading fast, but I don't understand. The anchor is weak. So it's good that you're reading. However, you're like that sheep. So what's happening is that the storm is coming at you. The storm of trying to comprehend, you're reading, you're not understanding. And then because there's no depth, the anchor is not strong enough, it's weak. It's weak. But you see, your understanding drifts away with distraction. Every time you skim and you're not understanding, there's distraction happening. Every highlight that you never convert to insight, you lose. Reading fast alone doesn't anchor knowledge. There are layers that anchor knowledge. So if you say I read fast, so that's why I always say when people come to me and they say I want to learn speed reading, I say to them, well, what we give is beyond speed reading. What we give at the Smart Speakers Academy is smart reading. Smart reading is speed reading plus systems. There are systems. So the truth is, if you read fast, you go and get a speed reading skill, I beg your pardon. You read fast, you can comprehend. The truth is, do you comprehend what you're reading? Can you actually convert the insight from those books into impact? We talked about all of that yesterday, right? Now, how many of you finished books that feel like nothing really changed? Let me know in the comment section. I do. I'm guilty. I can find myself here. You finish books and it feels like nothing really changed by the time you are done reading those books. I want to ask you again, how many of you take notes that you never use? You wrote notes from the books you read, but you never used it. The truth is that at the Smart Speakers Academy, we don't just teach you speed reading. We teach you smart reading. And smart reading means reading with purpose, reading with depth, reading with retention, reading with reflection, reading with application, reading with dialogue, and reading with legacy. I'll go through them again, don't worry. So these are the 7 layers that form smart reading. And that is the conversation we're going to be having today. Hello, I'm Leslie Grace, the Confidence Coach. My job is to help you master confidence, smartness through smart reading, smart thinking, smart speaking. And I love it to always do this every time that I get to be here. You are on the Smart Reading Short Break series, and this series happens Mondays to Fridays at 1 p.m., Saturdays at 7 p.m. West African time. So you want to come here if reading has been a struggle for you, you are tired of reading the traditional way, you want to do more than just reading or speed reading, you want to get into smart reading, then this conversation is for you. If you know a professional who's struggling with their reading, go ahead and share this live with them. They should come closer. Let's have this conversation. Yes. Now, first of all, let's talk about why most professionals read fast but grow slowly. You are fast to buy a book. You are fast to even read. You open the book, you read it, but you are not growing as fast as you are reading. I want to talk about that. Now, I want to begin with this story or this analogy, right? A professional reads 3 books a week. Maybe you are even that professional. You read 3 books a week. You highlight dozens of pages. You underline lines from the book. You even write notes. But 6 months later, you barely recall one lesson. Has this happened to you before? Put in the comment section for me. Yes, it has. Or it had happened to me before. It had. I would read. I would make notes. I read highlighter and highlight loads of lines from that book. But a few months later, I can't remember what I read. If that happened to you before, I want to show you why that happened and then show you how you can fix it with the 7 layers of smart reading. Now, neuroscience has shown that the human brain, your brain, stores only what is encoded with meaning and emotion. 2 things. There are 2 E's. Oh, thank you. I can see somebody saying yes in the comment section. All right. There are 2 E's that makes your brain store information long term. 2 things. Encoding and emotion. Encoding and emotion. That's how your brain works. That's why traumatic experiences can never be forgotten. So if you ask people, okay, what happened when you were 3? They can just go ahead and tell you, I can't really remember when I'm 3. But guess what? If they were raped at 3, because of the emotional impact of such an incident, they'll never forget it. even if it happened when they were even younger than 3. Because your brain stores information according to neuroscience. I've done the research for you, I've done the science for you, according to emotions and encoding. Thank you. We're going to do a lot of neuroscience explanation, how your brain works today. So you actually want to sit tight, get your writing materials, get somebody that should be here. Don't do this class alone. You can read, but if it doesn't land in your mind and in your heart, it will not produce again. It will not produce anything. Now, yesterday we did a lot about talking about reading for 2026, and we said strategic reading and all of that. The truth is, if your reading, the knowledge you got, has not gotten to these 2 places, remember I'm talking about encoding and emotion. So encoding has to do with the mind, emotions has to do with the heart. If the book you read, the information in that book has not gotten to your mind and your heart, it will not produce action. So the desired action, the desired strategic implementation of what you read that you're looking for cannot happen except it gets to your heart and to your mind. The question is, are you reading just to read, or you are reading to transform? So that you can be transformed. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if the information doesn't get to your mind, gets renewed by your heart, you cannot be transformed. You cannot be transformed. So quickly, how do we get the information to encoding and emotions? Through the 7 layers of smart reading. Layer number 1. If you're ready, put the comment section for me. Ready, ready, ready. Let me see you're ready in the comment section. Each of these layers that I want to give you would open your eyes and your mind to some truth that you didn't even know about reading. See, reading is a whole big deal. At the Smart Speakers Academy, we just give you 3 angles: smart reading, smart thinking, smart speaking, that can get you to confidence madness. So we've done the job and the research for you. Like we're the masters, right? We're the curators of smart reading. So that's what I want to give to you today. All right? Layer number 1, inputs. Okay, I can see the ready in the comment section. Yep. Layer number 1, inputs. Right in the comment section. Number 1, inputs. Input is the first layer when you're reading. The very first layer. And it is simply your first encounter with information. So if you are just encountering information, you are at layer 1. Layer 1 is input. Layer 1 is input. So as you encounter that book, okay, sorry about that, please. All right. Your first encounter with an information is input. So what you're doing is that you're just reading words, you're reading sentences, you're reading concepts. So take, for instance, you pick a leadership book, maybe a professional you want to read about leadership, and then you just skim through the book, but you never really interact with the book. So what you have is input, but no impact. That's the first layer of reading. Studies have shown that the problem with this layer, I'm not getting up to layer 7, which we'll also get up to, right? I'm giving you all of the 7 layers. The challenge, yes, thank you for that. Input is your first encounter with an information. Now, the thing about this layer is that it is the lowest layer of smart reading, because at this layer, it has been shown that the average retention of the passive reading is 10 to 20%. So it's a good place to still remember what you read, but guess what? It's 10 to 20% that you do. 10 to 20%. At best, it's 20%. Because the truth is, you just skim through that book, you just did inputs. And the thing is, inputs is like planting seeds. It's like planting seeds. But like that seed that was said, some fell on thorns, some fell on a heart. So what happens is that it is the some that fall on the right soil that is the 10-20% that you get. So the one that falls on rocky soil, those ones are lost. If you're playing at layer 1, which is the input layer, you just can make it a first encounter with your information. So I want to ask you, is this why you're playing? If what you can remember is 20% of what you're reading, is this where you're playing at the input level? Where it's as if you're just skimming, or just you are going through the book and you can say, I've done the reading. That's the level where you are. Skimming level. Layer number 2, focus. Can you put the comment section for me? Focus. Okay, sorry about that. We had a little bit of a network glitch. So sorry about that. Please confirm that you can see and hear me. We're back. We're back. We move. You see, these 7 layers are real depth of truth that I don't know, but you get it. You get it. No matter the challenge that comes. All right. Number 2, layer number 2 is focus. Focus. Okay, you can see and hear me. Great. Layer number 2 is focus. Now, when it comes to focus, I need to understand that focus is like the lens that sharpens the image. So just imagine you take it. So I remember, and each time they want to do a video at the academy, my team wants to record a video, the first thing they check is the lens. Because guess what? It's not even about how I look or about the content that I want to shoot. No. It's always about the lens through which that content will be shot, right? Okay. So now focus, it is the lens that sharpens the image. Without it, knowledge is blurry. Thank you. Without it, knowledge will be blurry. So when people say things like, I don't know why I'm not reading. I had to write a book, the Fast Flow Focus Kit is a guide. I had to do that book because if you are reading and you're not focusing, you are losing the second layer of smart reading. The focus is the attention layer. It's called the attention layer. How you direct your mind to engage with the text. And in that guide, the fast flow focus kit, I gave about a D12 framework. So about 12 Ds on how to actually direct your mind towards understanding what it is that you need. So focus has to do with your mind engaging with the text that you read. So I give you a typical example. Let's say you are trying to read and you have notifications, constant notifications here and there. Your phone is just buzzing, bum, bum, bum. You don't put the phone away. Your retention will drop by 50%. That's just by that digital distraction. You will lose a minimum of 50% of what you read. So, yes, input is layer 1. Layer 2 is focus. So again, that's why I say that most professionals are not doing smart reading, they are just reading. So where they are is at the input level. Oh, we're reading. They're just imputing the knowledge, but you are not actually building focus. When you build focus, you now let your mind interact with the knowledge that you're getting. Your mind begins to interact with that knowledge. That's how you begin to get into long-term memory. If you do not take away the distractions when you want to read, you can't focus. You can't focus, right? So the truth is that your mind must arrive before your eyes begin. Write it down in the comment section. Your mind must arrive before your eyes begin. The last time you read and you don't remember what you read, guess what? Your eyes began the reading, but your mind was not there. Your mind was not there. Your mind was thinking about the jollof rice you want to make for dinner. Your mind was thinking about school runs after this reading. Your mind was thinking, before your eyes begin reading, your mind must begin. Dear busy professional, and I understand the busyness of our life. I understand the reality of the business of the average busy professional, because I'm a busy professional as well. But guess what? The truth is, you should not read with your eyes alone. Read with your mind. Read with your. It's a second layer. Now you have left the people who are doing just input. Those are the people who come and they just retain only 10 to 20%. So they cannot even have a conversation about the book they read. I remember reading a book and I went to see the author, and the author goes, okay, come give us a review of the book. And I was able to have that conversation. Why? And this is a book I had read a while ago. Why? Because I read with my mind, even more than my eyes. Read with your mind more than you read with your eyes. That's the second layer of smart reading. I want to leave you with this question. Ask yourself this question. Where is my mind when I read? Ask yourself. Where's your mind? Is your mind on social media? Is your mind on emails? Is your mind on the next activity you want to do after reading? Or is your mind on the book you're reading? That's how you move from input level to the second layer, which is focus. Now let's go to the third layer, retention. Retention. So retention is memory encoding. Now I began by explaining to us encoding and emotions, right? Now this third layer is where the encoding happens. Memory encoding and storage. How do you begin to turn inputs into lasting knowledge? You are encoding. You are encoding. Take for instance, you read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I think it's by Stephen Covey. Now, you highlight chapters, but you cannot recall even one of the pieces 1 month later. Why did that happen? Because you see, retention improves 300 to 400% when notes are reviewed and encoded through spaced repetition. So if you want to achieve retention, then those notes you make, you need to revisit them. You need to revisit them. Revisit them through spaced, consciously. So in the book readers book, I teach this a lot, and because we have what we call a book breakdown system that is done in 3 minutes. So one of the things I always say to book readers is, before you get into the book breakdown for today, quickly in 3 minutes get to the book breakdown of the day before. It makes it a lot easier. And that's how to actually retain the information that you get. So if retention is a thing for you, that's what you want to practice. Because guess what? Retention is the vault where your mental treasures are stored. It's in retention. It's not in input, it's in retention. So no vault, no wealth, no knowledge. Oh, I read this book. You need to revisit your notes. And if you're not wondering, that will take me so much time. That's why you should be in the book readers group. In the book readers group, we have what we call a book breakdown system. That is done, and you can easily go back. So because I understand that spaced repetition is how you retain a knowledge, we've already created a system in the book readers group. And it doesn't take more than 3 minutes. So all it takes is 3 minutes. So when you need to revisit what you did yesterday, all it takes is 3 minutes. And you can even fast pace it if you need to. So on an average, what you should take is between 1 to 2 minutes a day. In 1 to 2 minutes, you get back. I've already given them how to retain information, how to quickly do a spaced repetition and get the knowledge that you get. And you know that it is with retention that you can get 300 to 400% of what you read. Oh, yes. If your brain drops what your eyes picks, you are not reading. No, you are just scanning. I want to say that again. You've done reading. So you did input layer 1, focus layer 2. Now at the third layer, if your brain drops what your eyes picked, guess what? You are not reading, you are scanning. You're not reading. And scanning is not the way to go. You're a busy professor, you don't even have the time to read. Now you've eventually read, it can't be scanning that you did. You cannot lose the information that you took the time, left other things that you're meant to do with your time to actually read. Do you remember what you read? That's what I want to ask you. Do you remember it? Do you remember what you read last week? Do you remember what you read last month? Do you remember what you read? I remember a professional saying to me, you have to give me the solution. I need to book. And I said, but you told me you read this book. And she said, I think I need to come and learn how to actually read and retain. Listen, you learned to read at age 6 in primary school, right? That pattern of reading they taught you cannot help you retain information now that you're a busy professional. It can't work. It's the reason you're struggling with reading, because you now say to yourself, I get quite a number of those messages daily that come to me and they say, Coach, the problem why I don't want to read is that I don't remember what I read. You are missing out on the third layer. I understand it. You're missing out on the third layer of smart reading, retention. And how do you retain? You retain by what we call a spaced repetition of previous knowledge. It's a whole system that we teach in the book industry. And all it takes is just 1 to 2 minutes daily. That's what book readers use. That's how we can remember what we read. Because we have a retention system. So, if you don't have a retention system, or where you are is input and focus, maybe you've been able to build focus, so maybe you take away your phone when you're reading and all of that. Have you built retention? Retention is like the biggest problem professionals struggle with when it comes to reading. Layer number 4, reflection. Are you ready? Reflection is layer number 4. I hope that this is giving you value. You want to retain more, revisit what you read before you go into something new. Always revisit what you did before you go into something new. So the thing is, this takes you time. So how do you craft the time? How do you crush the time so you can quickly go to what you did yesterday and then get into the conversation for the day, the book for the day, or the part of the book for the day? It's simple. We'll build it for you in the book videos. But you see, if you skip the retention level, you can't go to layer number 4. And I want to share with you layer number 4. Reflection. Reflection. Let's go. Thinking deeply about what you read. But how do you even think about something you read if you didn't retain it? No, you can't. You cannot. You cannot reflect. And if you do not reflect, you can't get to layer number 6 and 7, which I'll explain. 5, 6, and 7. So with reflection is thinking deeply about what you read. Deeply. Thinking deeply about what you read. making it personal, making it actionable. I can give you a typical example of how I read the book, What Changes Manifesto by Robin Sharma. Amazing book. It's one small mini book like that. Amazing piece by the way. And then after reading, I started reflecting. Because Robin Sharma says genius is not the realm of genetics, it's the realm of practice. So I started asking myself, how can I turn this into action instead? And I said to myself, there's nobody that is a genius in anything. You have just practiced more than others. So it redefined genius for me. So even when book readers come to me and they say, no, coach, this reading thing, I don't really like reading. I don't know. I say, no. There's nobody that's a genius in anything. You are simply a genius in what you practice. So if you haven't hit genius level, it simply means there's nothing wrong with you. The only problem is practice. If I can get you to practice reading daily, you become a genius. It's simple. It's simple. But I didn't get to this point until I passed through the 4 layers. I went from input, I went to focus, I went to retention, then I got to reflection. I started asking, how can I? That's why I got this understanding. Take for instance, you begin to reflect on a book that you read. That's how Elon Musk said, I built the Tesla cars by books. This is how we went. We went from input, focus, retention, reflection. You begin to reflect. Reflection is the hammer that shapes raw knowledge into a tool. If you pick a knowledge and it doesn't turn into a tool, what did you do actually? Reflection is the birthplace of wisdom. When you reflect, it's when you can birth wisdom. It's when you say people listen to somebody and they created something and they reflected. They reflected. How often do you pause to think about what you just read? How often do you pause to think about what you just read? How often do you actually take a few minutes to pause and think about what you have just read? I'm currently reading my mentor's book, Raising the Lifelong Learner. And today I got to the part, I think it's the part 3, that talks about conversations, how conversations are a key part of raising the lifelong learner. The conversations you have and how to actually spark up those conversations that can do that. And I paused and I asked myself, what are the conversations? So in that book, she said the conversations that can spark up in curiosity in the lifelong learner is the conversations that are beyond how school today. Or questions that the child can give you monosyllabic responses or mono sentences responses. So having conversations that can actually be open-ended so that you can raise a lifelong learner. So I started asking myself, when can I infuse those conversations? You must pause. You must pause to reflect. You must pause to reflect. Layer number 5. I hope that helps. So move from input, get into focus, get into retention, get into reflect. And then layer number 5, application. We're going somewhere. There's a 7th layer of reading that you need to hear. You've never heard it before, so calm down. We're going somewhere. But we cannot fly to that layer until we move this way. Number 5, application. Acting on what you read is how you turn knowledge into results. Write it down. Acting on what you read is how you turn knowledge into results. So when you see the Tesla cars that Elon Musk has built, it's simply because he acted it. Anybody else could read the books that Elon Musk read and they will not have the same result. They will not build any car. When he goes, I built the Tesla cars by books. So apply the knowledge that you got. Apply it. That's layer number 5. Reading without application is like harvesting seeds. It's like harvesting seeds without planting them. So what will happen is that you see no fruit. You see no fruit. You see no fruit. The only way you see a fruit is that you get to a point where you can actually apply. Every word you get, there are seeds. Yes, even Jesus said it. He said, if I went to plant seeds, every book you pick up to read is actually a farmer that planted. Every author is like a farmer. So they plant seeds in that book and they give it to you. So the question is, what are you doing with those seeds? Apply them. Until it changes your actions, it can't change your life. Until that knowledge changes your actions, it can't change your life. What have you applied from the book you read this month? Oh, when I was reading Growth IQ. In fact, I read a book, Advertising. My team will tell you they heard it from me. I was reading a book, Advertising. Amazing book. If you're in business, I highly recommend that book, Advertising. And when I was reading that book, I was just seeing it changed immediately. I changed everything about our whole system. Immediately. In fact, my team knew that was the book I was reading. They knew. So there's some book you read like this. Everybody will know that sometimes happens to you. That's how to read. That's how to read smart. Again, it is not the way you were taught reading at age 6. So I just taught you read geography. Exams are coming. That's why I say they gave us a wrong definition of exams. They gave us a wrong definition of school fees. That's why you are angry as a business professional, because they are telling you to pay for some knowledge. So you are offended. You say, why are they charging so much? No, that is a school. Life is a school. You keep paying fees throughout your journey. If you don't pay for the knowledge, ignorance is worse. Ignorance is worse. So you get into a place and they're saying, this is how much we're charging for this knowledge. And you are angry. Do you know why? You think you have finished school. You think you have finished school. What did you apply with the knowledge you got in school? Is it not now as a business professional that you're actually getting knowledge that you're applying? So if someone is giving you knowledge that you're applying and is giving you actions that are giving you results, shouldn't that person be paid? Shouldn't that knowledge be paid for? Again, one of the reasons I exist is to actually shatter certain myths that were sold to us. They told us a lie about exams. So they told us read to pass exams. They didn't tell us that exams are not what happens when you're in school. Exams happen every day in life. You will wake up and you get to your car and you can't start. If you have not mastered or read on emotional intelligence, you will definitely hit your children that moment because you have not you can't pass that exam. You didn't read for that exam, but you won't pass. You won't come out successful. They didn't teach us money making. So somebody is teaching you money making and charge and you're angry. Because nobody told you that school fees are paid throughout life. You pay fees for everything. You pay fees for knowledge. If you paid fees for primary school, why shouldn't you pay fees now? Now that you need the knowledge more. Now that the person teaching you, most likely, maybe you have to pay for mentorship. The mentor teaching me has applied this principle, so it's results I'm getting. Why can't I pay? Why shouldn't I pay? Why should I think about it? Because they told us, they didn't teach us that we're meant to be lifelong learners. They taught us the wrong way to read. What did geography do for you? Now, in the larger scale of things. I'm not saying it's wasted knowledge, right? But I'm saying until knowledge is applied, it can't turn to results. It can't turn to results. It can't turn to results. Layer number 6, dialogue. Oh, this is interesting. Dialogue is how you now convert the knowledge into articulation. Like what I'm doing now. This is the 6th layer of smart reading. But you know, I can't do this until I move from input, layer 1. I go to focus, layer 2. I go to retention, layer 3. I go to reflection, layer 4. I go to application, layer 5. I can't get to layer 6. Take, for instance, when you read about something, you now teach it. I hope you know that when you teach something, you learn it twice. So you see, this teaching framework is where this dialogue is where the whole book bingers book system lies. Because one thing I've taught book bingers is that when you are done reading, you have a dialogue on the spot. In the community, yes. And this dialogue never takes 1 to 3 minutes. Daily. If you don't teach it, you don't know it. If you can't teach it, you don't know it. When you teach something, you learn it twice. Again, that's why I said our traditional school system did us evil. Yes. Let me rephrase that, right? It was built in some sort of lopsided way. It was built lopsided. It was built lopsided. So you were not taught that teaching or debating or presenting is the core part of smart reading. If you don't teach it, you don't know it. Take for instance, you are a manager. You read a book on leadership and then you share your insights weekly in your team meeting. Your team grows. Your influence grows. You step into a place and you're the one they want to be. Speaking ideas aloud, science has shown that it strengthens neural pathways. So a group will just come to me and they say, oh, coach, I want to, or you get into the booth and you're saying, I want to understand how this thing can redeem it. Do you know that teaching one thing makes you learn it twice? Makes you learn it twice. So that's why you see people who are really on the impact journey find time to teach and teach and teach and teach and teach. Yes, you feel like they're giving you information and you're appreciating them for their time and their sacrifice and sharing too much of the knowledge. The truth is, so every time they teach it, they become better than you. Now, this is getting deeper, right? So let me move. Teaching strengthens neural pathways. It makes your knowledge 70% more retrievable. You know, when Jesus was talking about knowledge, he talked about the knowledge. He said, the things that I began to do and to teach. When you do apply, you stop at the 5th layer of smart reading. There's also a further layer that's higher, which is layer number 6. Then you teach it. Don't just apply. Teach. Find a system to teach it. And we've created a system for you in the book we just wrote. We'll call it a book breakdown. That's what we call it. It gives you a platform to actually teach what you need daily in no more than 3 minutes. Oh, you're shocked. No, you've not seen our system before now. No. You've not seen anything like the book we just wrote before. You were the first and the best to curate a system like that. Anybody else doing this is a copycat. You see, when you dialogue over a knowledge you've gotten, you're actually echoing treasure. You're echoing treasure. You're echoing treasure. The sound is what confirms that this knowledge exists. The sound of that knowledge from you is echoing, it's showing that this knowledge exists. If you can't say it clearly, you haven't understood it deeply. Please write it down in the comment section. I'll say it again. If you can't say it clearly, you have not understood it deeply. I recently was invited to a bookstore, so it's a bookstore that has a library and they have a book club that do a lot of things. And they wanted me to come and teach speed. And they had heard a lot of things about speed reading that looked really complex for them. And I brought out our own signature framework, part of one of the things that we do, and then I explained, I said, speed reading is simply this. And part of the thing they said, coach, you're not teaching speed reading without you. I had a note, but I barely, in fact, I had spoken minutes ago before I now said, well, let me go back to my notes before this class will take hours. Longer than 2. The sign that you have known it, the sign that you have understood it deeply, is that you can teach it clearly. The sign that you have understood it deeply is that you can teach it clearly. Who have you taught what you just read? If you read it and you don't teach it, you have not understood it. It's when you get to the point where you now teach it that you can understand. Let's go to layer number 7. Layer number 7 will blow your mind. You didn't know that reading was this deep. But that's why I'm your coach. That's why I'm the only confidence group that teaches you confidence madness. Because I don't believe in just being confident. But I give you this confidence madness. And you can achieve this until you read smart, think smart, and you speak smart. Let's go. Layer number 7. Write it down. Legacy. Legacy. Do you know that I always say to book readers in the book readers group that reading is not for consumption. Reading is for creation. If you join the Smart Creating Lab, I'm sure you heard this from me as well, or you joined any of our Smart Creating series, it was explained there as well. Legacy. Legacy. Legacy is how reading shapes your identity, your influence, your income, and your long-term impact. Research was done, and the research shows that there's no billionaire who doesn't learn daily. There's no successful person of impact up there who doesn't learn daily. Not one. Not one. Of course, they might have varying forms of learning, right? But not one person of income, not one legacy maker that does not learn daily. Not one. You know, when the Bible was talking about Jesus, it said, and Jesus went into the temple and he stood up for to read. Hey, your master stood up to read. And you are too busy to read. Isn't it an anathema? He stood up for to read. Study to show yourself. Study to build legacy. Simple. We are not reading to consume books. No. It's for legacy. It's for legacy. It's for legacy. It's for legacy. So it is why you should sit and ask yourself, why is Bill Gates doing 52 books every year? Why? Why is Elon Musk doing? Why did the parents of Elon Musk? Why is it that his environment made it possible for him to finish the encyclopedia before he even became a teen? Why? Why is he reading so for legacy? Legacy. Legacy. Do you know the kind of legacy you leave on the earth if you consistently read for 10 years? Just think about it. If you consistently read every day for 10 years, do you know the legacy? I have done this for years now, and I can't quantify the impact, the income, the influence. I'm shocked at what I'm seeing. See, we are in this forever. Forever, we're in this for a very long time. I will read every day till Jesus comes. I will talk about confidence, smartness for busy professionals. If you're smart, reading smart, then smart. Every day till Jesus comes. It is legacy. It is legacy. Imagine what your knowledge will become. It will become a culture of your life. Your voice will begin to shape decisions. Your influence will outlive you if you choose. It's a 10-year journey, minimum. It's a legacy journey. So when the Bible says the righteous shall be remembered forever, this is the path, man. This is the path. This is the way. This is the journey. This is the path. The people you remember, think about it. Were they leaders? If I tell you mention 5 people of influence that you can mention, is there any of them that doesn't read? Listen, the 7th layer of smart reading is legacy. We're here for legacy. The righteous shall be remembered forever. Anything that will make you not to remember forever is not legacy. It's not legacy. Psalms 1:1-6. The righteous shall be remembered forever. Legacy is a lighthouse built for books. Legacy is the lighthouse built for books. It's how generations are guided after you. If your maker wrote a book, don't you think it's passing a message to us? Why did God make us have a book, the Bible? Why? 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 Why did God make us write a book? Because books don't just build your mind, they build your future. Every day you go to the Bible, you keep learning something new, you keep seeing something new. Why? Why? What legacy is your reading building? See, I believe that with these 7 layers now, you already see that shallow reading is something not to do. It's so expensive. You can't be reading shallow. It's too much a price to pay. The cost is heavy. The cost is heavy. Because with shallow reading, you remember lines, but you forget lessons. Number one. You finish books, but you not get transformation. The books will not finish you, like I said the other day. Shallow reading is not good for you. You stack information, but you continuously remain mentally cluttered. I think it was a few days ago we talked about mental clutter, right? Knowledge is 90% information. But you know what? If it's not reflected upon or applied, 70% can be lost. More than 70. 90% of the information you get, if you don't pass it through these 7 layers, you didn't read smart. You can lose it. If your reading does not go through these 7 layers, you did not read smart. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry to say. Shallow reading is like collecting sand on the beach. Just collect the sand on the beach. You hold it for a moment, then it slips through your fingers. Shallow reading will create shallow thinking. Again, right? One of the reasons why I'm saying it is actually tell professionals that reading is for your thinking. It's for your thought process. I remember I heard my mentor coach when they say, read. That's how you access your thoughts in all areas of your life. So it's always about the thought process. It's not just about the reading process. It's because of how you think. When you are applauding those who speak smartly, speaking is an effect. It is caused by 2 things. How you read, which powers the way your thought works. So when people come to me, I teach smart speaking, right? When people Okay, sorry about that. Yes, I love what you just did, Choco. Oh, I love it. I love it. Come on now. This is good. This is so good. Reading must go through these 7 if your reading must be. Okay, must go through these 7. Oh, I love it, Choco. Thank you. Like I feel like I should pin this already. Reading must go through these 7 steps: input, focus, retention, reflection, application, and then D, dialogue and legacy. Wow. Thank you so much, Choco, for doing that. It's been amazing having you on here. Thank you for joining me till now. I have loved it to give you this session. I hope that these 7 layers of smart reading was impactful for you. It was impactful for me teaching as well. I loved it. I love it being here. Tomorrow we'll be here live at 7 p.m. for another smart reading short break series. 7 p.m. West African time. Join us. Share this live with somebody that should be here. If you know the professionals that are struggling with reading has been a problem for them, share the 7 layers. You can't hear it anywhere else. No, you can't. We curated smart reading so we know what it is that we are telling you is better than the traditional reading that you were taught at H6. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you loved this session. I know you did. Thank you for standing here until now. I will see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. This is the Smart World. I'm running for the basket. Yay! I love it. Thank you, Choco. It is good. It's good to know that. Thank you. I'll see you all tomorrow at 7 p.m. West African time. Bye, everybody. This is the Smart World.
You have the books, but no time. You want to grow, but your mind is stuck in traffic. And when it's time to speak, you go blank or play small.
That is not failure. That is mental overload. And Smart Speakers Academy was built to fix that. I am Leslie Grace, the confidence coach, and I help you master 3 allied skills: smart reading, smart thinking, and smart speaking.
Because confidence is built on competency. And when you read smart, you unlock speed of thoughts to become the smartest person in any room.
Click the link you can see to unlock the smarter version of you. Of course, because when you read smart, you think smart. And when you think smart, you speak like a smart leader. This is your time. Let's build the smarter version of you. This is the Smart World.